Can music really kill? But in drill music, it actually did. Rappers are dying, and their lyrics are the killers. Drillers have turned death into a money-making industry. Stick till the end to uncover how drill music is fueling violence. From violent countdowns to death, bloodshed, and taunting the dead ones. Is it hip-hop art? Or just murder with a beat? Drop your thoughts below. On the gritty streets of Chicago, rap isn't just entertainment. It's a deadly scoreboard. Drill music, born from the South Side, feeds on raw tales of gang life, turf wars, and rival taunts, where scores don't mean record deals. They mean bodies dropped. Let's start by exploring two names you might already know, King Von and FBG Duck. King Von and FBG Duck turned neighborhood feuds into viral tracks, each lyric a shot, each song a warning. Both were from Chicago, and both had an undeniable gift for turning real-life trauma into music. Gang affiliations, street stories, and an undeniable talent for telling it all in their music. In drill music, dissing the dead isn't rare, it's routine. Mocking fallen rivals by name, taunting their deaths, even celebrating the violence. It's all part of the track. King Von built his name through raw storytelling, rapping about violence he saw and violence he did. He was part of the O-Block crew, a gang from Chicago's South Side. FBG Duck, on the other hand, was from Tukaville, a rival neighborhood, and his lyrics often dissed Von's crew, taunting and mocking fallen enemies in his songs. The rivalry between King Von and FBG Duck didn't just stay on the streets. It bled into their music, turning drill rap into a battlefield. Their lyrics were their weapons. King Von's breakout track, Took Her to the O, wasn't just a hit. It was a direct diss aimed at Duck and his ties to the gangster disciples. Duck didn't stay silent. He clapped back with I'm from 63rd, a fiery response aimed squarely at Von and the Black Disciples. They were warnings, challenges, and acts of war. Fans knew it, rivals felt it. And in the unforgiving world of Chicago's drill scene, these lyrical jabs carry deadly consequences. And the most famous incident happened. In July 2020, Duck crossed a line that even drill rarely dared to touch. He rapped, said I wasn't gonna diss the dead, and okay, I did it, before listing 9 murdered rivals by name, mocking them in brutal, unforgiving fashion. It was a bold provocation aimed directly at King Von's crew. He mocked deceased BD members like T. Roy and O.D. Perry. Fans knew it was explosive. Duck knew it too. Friends say the death threats were non-stop. He was on edge, careful about where he went, and paranoid about who was watching. And he had every reason to be. And chaos erupted. In August 2020, Duck was shot and killed in broad daylight while shopping in Chicago's upscale Gold Coast. It wasn't random. This wasn't just another senseless murder. Duck's death was likely the result of a violent retaliation, and much of it can be traced back to the disrespect he rapped about in his songs. Months later, several members of the rival O-Block gang were arrested and charged in connection with the murder. The tragic irony is that just a few months later, King Von met a similar fate. In November 2020, Von was shot multiple times and killed outside an Atlanta nightclub, involved in a fight with a rival crew.
According to GBI, rapper King Von and his group were at Opium nightclub before making their way here to Monaco Hookah Lounge, then to the parking lot where chaos ensued.
It hurt us. It hurt us a lot. I cried. Some of my friends cried. He had a big influence on us, a really big influence.
26-year-old Devon Bennett, also known as rapper King Von.
He won't be back on the streets, he old. Everyone that he loved, they gon' be gone.
Shot and killed after a deadly fight erupted in front of Monaco Hookah Lounge. 2 men approached King Von and his group in the parking lot, and an argument ensued. The argument quickly escalating to a shootout between the 2 groups. Rapper Maximilian says he was there when it all went down.
The man who shot Von wasn't even from Chicago. He was connected to another rapper in another city, Quando Rondo. Von's death came just as his career was taking off. 2 young men, both on the rise, killed before they even reached their peak. Now step back and think, what led to this? To answer that, we need to understand the culture of drill, where disrespect can be a death sentence. In drill music, dissing is a common practice. It's a way for artists to show they are real. They're not just rapping about violence, they're living it. Disrespecting the dead has become part of the culture, and it's one of the most dangerous aspects of drill. When rappers insult someone's dead friends or family members, it's like calling for war. This brutal trend was born in Chicago's early 2010s drill scene, with pioneers like Chief Keef and Lil Durk laying the groundwork. One of the most infamous cases was 15-year-old Tuka, a gang-affiliated teen who was murdered in 2011. His name didn't fade with time. Instead, it was twisted into slang. Smoking on Tuka became a phrase used to disrespect his memory, and others soon followed. By the 2020s, dissing dead ops evolved into a twisted contest, each rapper pushing the line further, each track more venomous than the last. What started as music became a battlefield of pride, revenge, and blood. The insult gets public, it goes viral, and the cycle of violence is set in motion. This is what's known as scoring, a way to measure how well a rival has been taken care of. Violence becomes a point system in this dangerous game, and these public feuds, often broadcast on platforms like Instagram and YouTube, provide the perfect environment for retaliation. And it doesn't stop with just verbal insults. Social media plays a huge part in escalating these tensions. Even fans can get sucked into this mindset. On Reddit and YouTube, you'll find morbid scoreboard breakdowns of which gang has lost more members in a feud. In the age of social media, feuds play out in real time. Back in the 90s, rappers like Tupac and Biggie had to rely on radio stations, interviews, and music videos to get their messages across. Now, drill rappers can use platforms like Instagram Live, Twitter, and YouTube to diss rivals, and their fans can watch it unfold within seconds. This creates a unique problem that the internet never forgets. A single comment or video can escalate quickly, sometimes leading to tragic consequences. In fact, many drill artists are targeted and killed because of something they posted online. In 2020, after FBG Duck's death, rumors circulated that a $100,000 bounty had been placed on him, fueled by the diss tracks and social media posts he made. It keeps the beefs alive, pushing the rivalry to the point where it almost feels inevitable that someone will be killed. Over the last 5 years, at least a dozen high-profile drill artists have been killed, and many more have been caught up in violence related to gang culture and street beefs. From L.A. Capone, shot in 2013, to Lil Mister, shot in 2015, Lil Jojo, killed at 18 after mocking Chief Keef's crew, and more recently, FEG, Cash, and Jada Youngin. Drill rappers live a dangerous existence, where their success often brings greater threats. And it's not just Chicago. Pop Smoke, a rising Brooklyn drill star, was murdered at 20. Even a 14-year-old drill rapper in New York, Nadi Osama, was stabbed to death in 2022. In fact, hip-hop is the most dangerous genre for musicians, in terms of violent deaths. For a young rapper, getting out of the streets might seem like a dream. But for many, the reality is far darker. Authenticity is king in drill. Rappers who don't talk about real street life are often accused of being fake. But the big problem is, living that violent life can get you killed. Many drill artists feel pressured to stay in their neighborhood, but that realness often brings them closer to the violence they're rapping about. The danger is that authenticity can be a death sentence. This issue isn't new to hip-hop. In the 90s, gangster rap was also under fire for glorifying violence. Rappers like Tupac and Biggie were caught up in feuds that escalated to real-life violence. However, the way these beefs were played out was a bit different. In the 90s, the focus was often on bragging rights and street credibility, not specific violent acts. Yes, there were deaths like Tupac's and Biggie's, but drill music today is far more violent and direct. Can drill break the cycle? Drop your thoughts below. The violence in the drill is not without its potential solutions. Lil Durk, one of Chicago's most successful drill rappers, has publicly stated that he won't disrespect the dead in his music anymore. That's a huge shift in an industry built on dissing rivals. Artists can still be real, raw, and authentic, but it doesn't have to mean glorifying death. To the young artist watching, remember, choose your battles wisely because the true score in life isn't keeping track of who you've taken down. It's about building something better, something lasting. The future of drill is in your hands. What will you do with it? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Until the next chapter in the Outlaw Book.